What happens when a spirit guide loses the very weapon that defines her? The one sacred tool that embodies her power, her purpose, her entire existence. The one thing that makes her, her. After delivering one of the most visually stunning and emotionally powerful action adventures in recent memory, the wizards at Ember Lab are back, and they're bringing something darker, bigger, and far more ambitious than anything we saw in the first game. In fact, what we've seen of Scars of Kosmora so far already suggests a sequel that is leagues ahead of its predecessor, both visually and in sheer scope. This, my friends, is Kena, Scars of Kosmora. Today, we're not just scratching the surface, we're diving deep into every crack and crevice of this highly anticipated sequel. We're asking the big questions. What happened in the first game, and why did it resonate so powerfully? How did it explode onto the scene and become a sleeper hit? Why on earth did Ember Lab, a relatively small studio, greenlight a follow-up of this magnitude? Then we're unpacking all the official, mind-blowing details of Kosmora, breaking down that incredible trailer shot by shot, dissecting the game-changing combat evolution, and cooking up some truly wild yet plausible story theories that could redefine everything we thought we knew about Kena and her world. This is the breakdown that proves Kena 2 is shaping up to be an absolute must-play on a grander scale. Let's begin this epic journey. Part 1. What made Kena special? The story of Bridge of Spirits. In Kena, Bridge of Spirits, we were first introduced to Kena, a young, compassionate spirit guide tasked with a profoundly solemn and often heartbreaking job, helping trapped, tortured souls move on from the physical world. She wasn't a warrior born, but a guide, a healer, wielding a staff more for direction than destruction. And let's be real, that journey through a beautifully devastated forest and its forgotten villages was an emotional punch to the gut. It was a masterclass in weaving personal tragedy into thrilling adventure. Every single spirit she encountered drowning in a unique form of trauma, unable to find peace. Every epic boss fight wasn't just a battle of strength, but a confrontation with deep, unresolved pain, grief, and resentment that had manifested into monstrous forms. And then there were those tiny, adorable, mischievous companions known as the Rot. These weren't just cute mascots, they were Kena's constant allies, helping her purify corruption, solve puzzles, and even aid in combat. They stole our hearts and became bona fide legends in modern gaming. The game wasn't just beautiful, it was a breathtaking masterclass in blending disparate elements. Cinematic, Pixar-level animation. Seriously, it looked like an animated film we could play, with character expressions and environmental details that were just exquisite. Souls-lite inspired combat. It was challenging, yes, but crucially, it was fair and rewarding. It demanded precision, timing, and strategic use of Kena's abilities and the Rot's unique abilities. And those brain-bending environmental puzzles. These weren't just filler, they were intricately woven into the narrative, requiring clever use of the environment and the Rot's unique abilities. And then that heart-wrenching, often tear-jerking emotional storytelling. It explored themes of loss, healing, and acceptance with a maturity rarely seen in action-adventure games. It genuinely felt like an interactive animated film, but with a surprising amount of meaningful challenge and depth that kept us completely engrossed and emotionally invested from start to finish. Reviews and player reception. Critics frankly gushed over this game. They couldn't get enough of its unique charm and polish. Top-tier publications showered it with praise for the absolutely stunning art direction. It pushed the boundaries of what a stylized game could achieve graphically, creating a world that felt both magical and melancholy. Its powerful, often tear-jerking emotional narrative. The storytelling, particularly how it handled the stories of the individual spirits, was hailed as a triumph. Memorable boss designs that were more than just health bars. These encounters felt deeply personal, each boss a manifestation of a tragic backstory. and that tight, super responsive combat that felt amazing. While challenging, every dodge, every bow shot, every rot attack felt impactful and satisfying. Sure, a few critics nudged about the combat depth not quite matching massive, multi-million-dollar AAA titles with endless skill trees, but honestly, for a debut title from a new studio, the overall vibe was overwhelmingly, unequivocally positive. It punched far above its weight class. Sales and success. And here's where it gets really interesting, and frankly, a bit miraculous. Despite being developed by a relatively small, independent studio, Ember Lab, whose background was primarily in animation, not game development, Bridge of Spirits wasn't just a critical darling, it became a full-blown commercial success. It absolutely crushed it on the PlayStation sales charts at launch, holding its own against seasoned giants, and it maintained killer long-term player engagement. It wasn't just a fleeting success, it had staying power. But even more importantly than the raw sales numbers, it forged a dedicated, passionate fan base, a community that fell in love with Kena, the Rot, and Ember Lab's unique vision, a community hungry for more adventures in this beautifully crafted world. And that's exactly where the incredible, unexpected story of the sequel, Scars of Kosmora, truly begins. Part 2. Why Kena 2 is happening. So why are we getting Scars of Kosmora? Why would Ember Lab risk a follow-up when the first game was such a perfectly contained experience? It boils down to 3 undeniable forces that propelled this sequel into existence. Number 1, massive fan demand. Let's be real, after finishing Bridge of Spirits, we all screamed for more. The ending hinted at so much more beyond the Forgotten Village. Players craved deeper lore, a bigger, more expansive world to get lost in, and an expanded mythology that only the first game tantalizingly teased. The community's passion was a powerful engine. Number 2, untapped story potential. The first game, as brilliant and self-contained as it was, only scratched the surface. It hinted at the ancient, mysterious origins of spirit guides themselves, how they came to be, the true nature of the Rot, and the deeper spiritual mechanics of the world, but it never fully pulled back the curtain. There was so much more to explore, so many questions left unanswered, leaving a fertile ground for a sequel to blossom. Number 3, publisher confidence. With strong critical love and undeniable financial success, the Kena franchise proved it wasn't just a flash in the pan, it wasn't just a one-hit indie wonder that got lucky. No, this was the legitimate foundation of an entire rich fantasy universe ready to be built upon, and its potential was clearly recognized by PlayStation, who seems to be investing heavily in Ember Lab's ambitious vision for this world. This confidence is a huge reason Scars of Kosmora looks like a massive step up, allowing for a grander scale and even higher production values. Part 3. Official details of Scars of Kosmora. Alright, let's talk brass tacks, the crucial concrete details you absolutely need to know about Kena Scars of Kosmora. Release window. Mark your calendars, set your alarms, and prepare for 2026. While a specific date hasn't been announced, knowing the year gives us a target for our excitement. Platforms. This breathtaking adventure is confirmed for PlayStation 5 and PC. This means stunning next-gen visuals and performance, ensuring Kosmora looks and plays its absolute best, making it visually far superior to the already gorgeous original. But here's the biggest reveal. This sequel plunges us into an entirely new environment, a mysterious, haunting island called Kosmora. The trailer reveals a land literally scarred by ancient imbalance and spiritual corruption, a far cry from the cozy, intimate, and familiar villages of the first game. Kosmora immediately appears, massively larger in scope, promising sprawling landscapes and more complex zones that dwarf the original's environments. Far more open for exploration, suggesting a less linear experience than Bridge of Spirits, truly embracing a grander sense of discovery. Surprisingly vertical, with soaring cliffs, ancient ruins reaching into the sky, and deep chasms, hinting at new traversal mechanics and a sense of true scale that was only hinted at before. And absolutely packed with richer ancient lore. Every crumbling stone and overgrown path seems to whisper tales of a forgotten civilization and a deeper history, making the world feel much more ancient and layered. This isn't just a sequel that rehashes old ideas. This is a true, courageous evolution in sheer scale, ambition, and thematic depth. Everything we've seen points to a game that's not just bigger, but genuinely better in every possible way, taking the foundations of the first and expanding them to a truly grand scale.
Part 4. The Staff Shattering Moment.
And now, let's talk about the moment that sent shockwaves through the community, the most jaw-dropping, heart-stopping revelation from that incredible reveal trailer. Kina's staff shattered, absolutely obliterated by some insanely powerful corrupted spirit, its magical energy violently dispersed. Think about it for a second. That staff wasn't just a fancy stick. It wasn't just a weapon, though she used it to great effect. It symbolized everything about her being a spirit guide. It was her entire identity, a conduit for her power, a beacon of hope and guidance. It represented her sacred tradition, a legacy passed down through generations of spirit guides. It embodied her very lineage, connecting her to the ancient path of her ancestors. Its destruction is far more than just a plot point. It's a dramatic, painful, and deeply symbolic moment of forced transformation. It signifies the end of one era for Kina and the beginning of another. Stripped of her primary tool and symbol of power, Kina is now forced to learn a forgotten, ancient form of spirit guiding, one deeply rooted in elemental alchemy. This isn't just a new combat mechanic. This is a fundamental shift in who Kina is and how she interacts with the spiritual world. This is huge. It sets the stage for a Kina that is stronger, more adaptable, and ultimately far more powerful, immediately elevating the stakes and combat potential beyond anything in the original.
Part 5. Combat Evolution.
And this, my friends, is where the sequel truly levels up and flexes its muscles. The shift to Elemental Alchemy promises a combat system that is not only deeper, but fundamentally different from what we experienced in Bridge of Spirits. This is where Scars of Kosmora truly starts to look far better than Part 1, with a combat system that feels far more expansive and strategic.
Elemental Alchemy System.
Forget pure spirit attacks and relying solely on a staff. Kina is now channeling the raw, untamed power of the elemental forces that govern Kosmora itself. We're likely to see a dynamic, fluid system involving fire for explosive burst damage, setting enemies ablaze and offensive pressure. Imagine launching searing projectiles or creating fiery AoE zones. Wind for insane mobility, executing quick dashes, creating vortices for crowd control, and perhaps even unlocking aerial combat combos that lift Kina and her enemies off the ground. Earth for solid defense, manifesting protective barriers, summoning rocky projectiles, or creating localized tremors for stunning enemies. And possibly even mysterious water or spirit flow mechanics for healing, creating temporary weaknesses in enemies, or even manipulating the environment to her advantage. This isn't just an aesthetic change, this completely transforms the combat, introducing detailed enemy weakness systems. Certain foes will likely be vulnerable to specific elements, demanding strategic switching mid-fight. Ingenious element-based puzzles. Imagine using fire to melt ice, wind to activate ancient mechanisms, or earth to raise platforms. Dynamic environmental reactions during combat. Picture igniting flammable areas with fire, or using wind to spread toxins across the battlefield. And deep combo synergy mechanics that will allow players to chain elemental attacks for devastating effects, making us feel like total badasses as we master Kina's new abilities. Combat isn't just reactive anymore. It's going to be intensely strategic, incredibly dynamic, and deeply rewarding for players who learn to master the elements. This layered approach is a huge reason why the sequel looks like a massive upgrade in gameplay depth.
Companion System Upgrade.
Another key aspect showcased in the trailer is the significant evolution of the companion system. That new trailer also tantalizingly teased a majestic, ethereal, fox-like elemental spirit that seems to be Kina's new primary companion, and trust me, that's not just for show. This suggests a significant evolution of the companion system, possibly including companions directly tied to specific elements, each with unique powers and battlefield roles. Perhaps this fox spirit is one of several elemental familiars Kina will acquire, further expanding our strategic options. Battle synergy combos, where Kina and her companion work in perfect harmony, unleashing combined elemental attacks that cover a wider area or deal more damage. Powerful summon-style abilities that can turn the tide of a difficult fight, calling upon these spirits for powerful temporary assistance. And clever traversal support to navigate Kosmora's expansive and vertical environments, perhaps using a wind spirit to glide or an earth spirit to create temporary platforms, seamlessly integrating companions into exploration on a grander scale. And what about our beloved Rot? The trailer is vague, but if they return, and I'm betting they do, they might evolve into something even more combat-oriented, becoming tiny elemental powerhouses themselves, perhaps changing their form or abilities based on Kina's current elemental attunement. The possibilities are endless. This expanded companion system alone makes the game look far richer and more dynamic than the original.
Boss design and difficulty.
Prepare yourselves, because the enemies in Scars of Kosmora appear to be on a whole new level. The very essence of Kosmora's corruption seems to manifest in creatures that are more terrifying and complex. Expect them to be massively larger and more imposing, towering over Kina and demanding a grander scale of combat, making previous bosses look tame by comparison. Way more aggressive and relentless, pushing players to their limits with intricate attack patterns and brutal damage. Multi-phase nightmares that will push our skills to the absolute limit, changing tactics and vulnerabilities as the fight progresses, and possibly even element shifting mid-fight, forcing us to constantly adapt our elemental strategies and switch between Kina's different forms or attacks on the fly. Boss battles are going to demand our absolute best, precise element switching, flawless companion coordination, and clever weakness exploitation. This feels so much deeper, so much more engaging than the first game's combat loop. This is the challenge we've been craving. I'm beyond hyped. This entire boss design philosophy underscores how Scars of Kosmora is elevating the combat experience to a truly grand scale.
Part 6. Story Theories.
Alright, my fellow lorehounds, it's time to put on our speculation hats and dive into some juicy story theories for Scars of Kosmora. Ember Lab loves its layered narratives, and this sequel is ripe for interpretation. Theory 1. Kina's true origin. The sequel strongly hints that Kina is embarking on a deeply personal quest, searching for answers not just about Kosmora, but about her own spiritual condition and heritage. What if Kosmora isn't just an island, it's the very birthplace of all spirit guides, a sacred ancient place where their powers originate, and perhaps where the original Rot were born? This would make Kina's journey a pilgrimage to her own roots, unearthing secrets that dwarf the discoveries in the first game. And what if her trusty staff, the one that shattered, was actually limiting her true, raw, elemental power all along? Perhaps it was a tool designed to regulate or constrain a dormant, far more immense elemental power within her. The breaking of that staff might not be a tragedy, but rather the symbol of her ultimate awakening, a necessary, painful catalyst for her to tap into her full, unbridled potential. Talk about a power-up and a fundamental redefinition of her role. This theory alone suggests a narrative arc on a grander, more epic scale for Kina herself. Theory 2. The Fall of Kosmora. The desolate, ruined landscapes of Kosmora scream one thing: a lost, powerful civilization that somehow catastrophically misused its deep understanding of elemental power. This isn't just random decay, it's systemic destruction, deeply embedded in the land itself. We're looking at possibilities like a corrupted former spirit guide from Kosmora, one who succumbed to the dark temptations of power and unleashed the very spiritual corruption Kina now faces. Perhaps the ultimate antagonist is a tragic reflection of Kina's own path, but with a history that spans millennia, hinting at a villain with a much more complex and powerful backstory than anything we faced in Bridge of Spirits. A powerful ritual gone horribly wrong centuries ago, an attempt to harness or control the elements that backfired spectacularly
spectacularly, leaving the island scarred and its inhabitants cursed. The sheer scale of the ruins and the corruption suggests an event of cataclysmic proportions, a far grander conflict than the localized cleansing of the first game. Or a cataclysmic elemental imbalance that devastated the entire island, a consequence of hubris or ignorance, creating the scars that permeate the environment and its inhabitants. The scars in the title probably refers not only to the ravaged island itself, but also to the profound, transformative emotional and physical scars Kina herself will bear on this arduous journey. Her personal struggle mirrored in the world around her, but now on a truly epic scale. Theme of balance and identity. If Bridge of Spirits was a heartfelt journey about healing individuals, confronting personal grief, and finding peace, then Scars of Kosmora seems poised to tackle something far grander and more existential, nothing less than restoring fundamental balance to an entire wounded world. It's about the interconnectedness of all things, the balance of nature, and the consequences when that balance is broken. This means higher stakes. Kina isn't just saving a village, she's potentially saving an entire spiritual ecosystem, a whole island, perhaps even the fabric of reality itself. Deeper lore will finally unravel the ancient mysteries of the spirit guides and the rot, going far beyond the scope of the original, and a journey of even greater personal transformation for our beloved Kina as she sheds her old identity to embrace a more powerful elemental one. I'm absolutely here for it. This is the thematic expansion the fans have been dreaming of, presented on a truly grand narrative canvas.
Final thoughts.
So, is Kina Scars of Kosmora just another sequel? Absolutely not. This isn't just a simple follow-up, it's a bold, ambitious evolution driven by several powerful forces. Unshakable critical reception that recognized the unique magic of Ember Lab's first game, massive commercial success that proved the Kina universe has significant market appeal, the overwhelming roar of fan demand for more lore, more exploration, and more of Kina's journey, and pure, unadulterated narrative ambition from Ember Lab, who clearly have a much larger story to tell and the resources to back it up. A shattered weapon, a beautifully scarred yet dangerous island, a spirit guide forced to fundamentally evolve or be consumed by the very corruption she seeks to cleanse. If Ember Lab nails this expansion of combat depth, this larger exploration scale, and continues to deliver its signature emotional storytelling, then this isn't just going to be another game. This could easily become one of 2026's defining fantasy action adventures, a benchmark for storytelling and gameplay in the genre. Everything we've seen indicates that Kina Scars of Kosmora will not only build upon its predecessor, but surpass it in every conceivable way, delivering a truly grand-scale experience that looks far better, plays better, and tells a more epic story. And I, for one, can't wait to jump into Kosmora and uncover its secrets. If you're as hyped as I am for deep gaming breakdowns, intricate lore analysis, and a look at next-gen combat evolution, then you are definitely watching Video Game Clipster. This is the place where games don't just play, they leave a legacy. Do me a solid, if you enjoyed this deep dive, like the video. Hit that subscribe button right now for more cinematic breakdowns just like this, and absolutely smash that bell icon so you never miss the next epic adventure. Until next time, stay legendary.